Hey, collective. So, this is the Unrelenting Alchemist here with another message for you. And in this particular message, I wanted to talk to you about how you are amazing. You are a traveler of realms. And if you're hearing this, you're not ordinary. You're one of the rare ones. You're one of the initiated. You're one of the chosen. And that means your path isn't just one of light, it's one of transmutation. Let other people misunderstand you. Let the spiritually blind call you too much, or too deep, or too intense. And you are those things, and they're not wrong, but they're wrong for how they view that and how they judge that, because they're too unequipped to comprehend your flame. So they dismiss it. It takes a mind like yours, one who's blessed by the divine, to face the own enemy that matters, and that's your own shadow. You see, Carl Jung's talk about the shadow in his body of work is that one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. In other words, you have the bravery to confront the shadow parts of yourself that other people maybe hide, slip under the table, want to forget about. You tackle your fears, you tackle your shame, you tackle your anger and rage, you tackle your vulnerability. And here's the truth: the weak often run from it. Their ego is too big to let them address it. The average repress it, but you're a chosen one by the divine. You're spiritually elite. And so you've learned to face it head on. You don't hide from your demons. You interrogate them. You ask, what are you trying to teach me? You bring shadow into consciousness and you claim your spiritual throne through inner confrontation because you don't fear these things. You address them head on. You made peace with your demons, and this is why you rule the underworld of your own mind. So remember that when you tackle that pain and suffering and trauma inside you, let's look to Buddhism, right? Buddhism says that attachment to suffering is optional. You have been hurt. You have been through spiritual battles. You've been through psychic attacks. You've cried in silence where no one applauded your strength. But here's the difference: you didn't throw a pity party. You didn't audition for victimhood. You observed your pain, you acknowledged it, you held it with compassion. That's the way the Buddha would operate. That's the way the Buddha would hold a lotus even in muddy waters. And then you released it. You transmuted it into power, into wisdom, into gold. You didn't treat your scars as wounds that haven't healed. They're seals of sacred teaching. Because you have learned how to tackle your inner child. Being a chosen warrior, you know how to heal that inner child. Everyone was chosen, and everyone was once a child. You were told you were too much, too different, too sensitive. But that child, that innocent one, it still lives inside of you, waiting for your embrace. The world wanted to shatter your light before you could even name it. And what kept you an earth angel that did not fall off the wagon is that you came back for your inner child. Not with tears, but with truth. You told that inner child, you are safe now. I will protect you. I will be the adult we always needed. And that's sheer raw power. Because to love your inner child without crumbling is what makes you spiritual royalty. And your enemies cannot grasp what they cannot comprehend. Let's face it, you have reached a level that they could never reach. Your enemies were never your match. They mocked what they couldn't grasp. They labeled your intelligence arrogance because it threatened their illusion of control. They might have even called you mentally ill, psychotic. You moved differently. You understood Jung. You studied the Dharma. You activated your Merkaba, that light body. You called on the great divine. You didn't let your problems addle your mind. You didn't let your problems overwhelm you. You realized that you had to accept all of yourself. So you did that light body work, shadow work. So let's talk about Jungian shadow work. You face your fears. You transmute shame into sacred insight. Your honor was what was once denied. And so, in that sense of detachment from suffering, you realize you didn't have to be part of it. You can hold space without clinging. You can observe emotion like clouds passing through the sky. You can stay centered, sovereign, and still. That's the path to inner child mastery. You cradle your past self with wisdom. You rise without bitterness for your past circumstances because they were not happening to you, they were happening for you. You become your own protector. And this is when you reach that light body chariot, that Merkaba activation, because you spin the sacred geometry within yourself. You remember how to fly. You return to your God body form. And you weave webs. Let's think about Neith's shield. You are armed by destiny. You're not just protected, you're chosen to protect others. You're a weaver of fate. You've been crowned by the cosmos. So let's look at the final word here. You, as the chosen, are sacred and rare. You're not like the others who could not understand you, who could not acknowledge you. You dare to be different, but different is what you are, and you're not ashamed of that. Rather than trying to fit in, you learn to live life on your own terms. You transmute pain. That's not arrogance, that's evolution. You carry the codes of healing. You carry the strength and the courage to tackle any confusion within. And you learn from all of your experiences, and that makes you a better human being. That makes you a better soul that's eternal, which is going through a mortal existence right now. You eventually rise, and you don't stop rising because you know that you are unstoppable. And if I don't see you, just remember, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.